Oh, damn it. Okay, you guys, here is the, I guess, final, well, I guess it's not the final video because we're still gonna do some paint touch-ups here and there. This is our friend Cameron's Mini. It is a 1964 1071 Cooper S that he bought on Bring a Trailer. If you wanna know more about the car, you can just go to Bring a Trailer and look up the history and look for a white 1071 that sold, and you can see what the engine looked like. We'll throw in some before pictures in this video, but if you really want to know what it looked like before, you can look at the video link that we'll post down below on the before video that we did on this car when we first received it from him. And it didn't run, and we just made it run to make sure that we had a good platform that we could start with. I drove it around the block. I brought it in and said, okay, boys, let's go to town. So this was a careful massage restoration. This was a don't fix it all and make it perfect. And he called me and said, you know, what should we do? And I said, well, I don't think we should, you know, do a, you know, restoration, rotisserie. No, no, no. This is so original and so unmolested and so unrestored. We really got to kind of leave it that way. And he was in total agreement. He said, you know, I just don't want to have another restored Cooper S that, you know, you show up and park with the other 40 odd, you know, really beautiful Cooper S's out there. There's nothing wrong with that. I get that. And I've done it many times and I love it. But this just does not happen every day. This is one of only 402 1964 1071 Cooper S models that were ever produced in left-hand drive and exported around the world for left-hand drive markets. Now, how many of those 402 actually wound up in the United States? I have no idea, but here is one of them. And I love this car so much. I'm just so grateful that Cameron gave us the opportunity to massage this thing and do what we've done to it. And I'd really love to do a deep dive with you. So come on over here and let's take a look at this. So we were very careful not to disrupt its originality and try and keep it the best we could. And of course, I put a new Morris Cooper grille in it. I retained the bumper overriders, but I replaced the bumpers. So these are the original ones that came on the car. I added the European license plate holder on the front to hide the front skirt down there that was really kind of mangled and chewed up and bent and not pretty, but he hates that plate. He says, I don't want that on there. Please take it off. So I will do what the customer wants. I would leave it. I think I like it. I think it looks cool. But when we take it to our buddy Alex up in Battleground, Washington, we're going to carefully, and I say carefully, paint the top, but have it dull and sort of like it would be if it still was original. So it's going to get the top. There's a lot of dents in the top. So I have to do that because there's just too many dents in it. So it'll look really good, but I promise it's going to be tasteful and it'll look original, but old. Also, this fender is just white. it doesn't match the rest of the paint on the car. So we're going to carefully, as careful as we can, color match the paint and bring that back. We're going to try and fix that scratch in the door, and just massage it carefully, but still maintain that originality and the oldness. We're not blowing it apart. We're not taking everything off. We're just going to carefully do those things. So that being said, let's look at the engine and what we did here. So this is a real 1071 Cooper S. We were very careful about, we left it positive ground, so it still has the generator, the voltage regulator. The battery is positive ground. It's not negative ground. And we did do this mini fin alloy valve cover, and we crinkle painted it and carefully scraped the top of the fins to give it that vintagey old look. Now this is a real mini fin. You can tell by the cap and the shape. You can also tell by this vent. The aftermarket or knockoff copies don't have that. So this is a real mini fin alloy valve cover. We carefully massaged this engine, and you may disagree with me on this. However, you have to understand that I thought about putting the twin 1.25" Cooper carbs on there. In fact, let me grab them. Hang on. So here is a set of twin 1.25" Cooper S carburetors. I really contemplated putting those on for Cameron. However, he said something to me that I just, I had to make an executive decision. I put the single 1.75" HIF carburetor on there only because he said, I'm fixing up this car for my 16-year-old daughter. This is going to be her first car. This is her starter car. And I was just like, this is not a starter car.
No. I'm looking for something for my daughter. Good starter car.
A starter car! This car is a finisher car! A transporter of gods! The golden god! I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
No, okay, so I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. He did say that this is Cameron's car, and he is going to share it with his 16-year-old daughter. He said, not that she gets to go take it out on dates or anything like that. No, what he said is that I want her to be able to learn to drive a stick in a classic Mini Cooper, on my classic Mini Cooper, that's Cameron, in a 1071 Cooper S, because he thought that would be a really good story. And I agree with him. How cool is that? If I could grow up and say, yeah, I learned to drive a stick on a 1964 1071 Cooper S, I think that would be pretty cool. So he wants to share this with his family and his daughter, and I get it. So that being said, that's why I tried to go with reliability, ease. Now, to maintain twin carburetors, old SU carburetors, you can wear out the bonnet hinges. You're out there opening and closing that thing and fiddling and working with those things like no tomorrow. So it has electronic ignition in it, but there's no boxes, so it looks original. We have a single 1.75" carburetor because it works really, really well. It's reliable. You don't have to mess with it. You set it and go. And I want it to be able to start and run, and I want it to have easy throttle response. It performs really well. So that was the idea, that he could use the car rather than present it as original and, the way it is. Because, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really, really good.
That is a really good track.
So again, we retained its positive ground. We retained the generator and the voltage regulator. We did upgrade the starter. You can't see it, but it cranks really well. You're going to hear that when we go for a ride. Of course, we replaced all the hydraulics. We replaced the suspension, the cones, the high-lows, the polyurethane bushings, all that kind of stuff. We made it mechanically as reliable and perfect and sound as we could. So come on around here. Let's look at some of the details. So, of course, we had to add the deluxe trim here. You can see I didn't take the old mirror off. I love this old Ray Dot. Of course, it still has its old trim, and the windows slide really well. And I love that. I mean, that is so cool. All the original Cooper S trim. This is good stuff. Of course, Mark I, no safety bumper on the door latches. Come on around here and you can see that We added the gold brocade door straps, and those are original. We retained all the original hardware, so that's the way it was actually put together. You know, you'd be shocked at how many times the little bracket, the little washers, the little base plates, the little bits and pieces, there's about, I don't know, a dozen little parts just for that door strap. And look how this door has never been taken apart. You got to see this. So look at this. There's the original washer and the beveled washer that everybody forgets. And, you know, they're only original once, right? So you got to leave them alone because you got to see this. This is the coolest thing. So you know a real Mini guy, when he takes an old 1960s Mark I Mini and he shuts the door. Watch that. Look at that. And look at how it lines up. Oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. They don't ever shut like that after you take them apart and put them back together. And the new door seals you get are too fat and bulbous, and you know, there's all kinds of things. Anyway, look in here and you can see we did the brand new red carpet kit from Newton Commercial. These are the original seats. These have not been recovered. We've got a little bit of tears here and there, but again, all original. You know, we've got the original little horn and the 120 mile an hour Speedo with pointed bezels, all the gold brocade. I mean, is that looking cool or what? Look at these old stickers. There's so much cool stuff. You could spend forever just looking at the small amount of details on a car like this. Even the door kicks, look at how those are original and haven't been removed and put back on. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, I'm nerding out here big time. Some of the other things we did, we of course cleaned up the little grease fitting covers for the rear trailing arms and put the little rubber plugs back in. And then we went with the genuine Cooper S silver wheels with the chrome baby moons or hubcaps, not the stainless. And then the Dunlop R7 tires. I think that's period correct. I think that looks really cool. I'm loving this. So we did replace the windscreen. That's kind of important. And all the window rubber seals, just in the back window and the front window. That's really, really important. So again, this is the kind of cool stuff that you just don't see in an original car or a restored car. So again, we also did these red upper turn signal lenses. The swinging hinged license plate is original. We just put the rubber buffers that were missing there. And then, of course, we've replaced the exhaust system with a side exit stainless exhaust. We've got, of course, a red boot board for the single tank in the Classic Mini, of course. I did leave the original boot lid liner because I just think it's so cool that it's kind of faded and it's imperfect, which makes it perfect, right? All right. Anyway, I did have to replace some of the boot lid cables. Of course, we retained the old original bumper overriders. We did replace the bumper, but we did retain the old original bumper overriders. Something I gotta show you. Something that's so cool. Check this out. You see these switch extenders? These are real switch extenders from the early 1960s because they came out of my personal stash. All right, so I am letting Cameron have those out of, I wanted to keep them real bad because I wanted to put them in my rat van, but let me show you the deal. All right, I want you to see this. This is the aftermarket or more modern version of the switch extender, okay? You can see that it's got these little ribs and it's round. All right, well, that's cool if you can find them. They're still even hard to find today, these. But there's, my buddy Davoud sent me these. He's from France, but lives here in Portland, Oregon. And this says DATCH, D-A-T-C-H on it. And these are the original pointed old school switch extenders, but they remanufactured them. And I think that's really cool. If I could get some more of these guys at DATCH, let me know. I'll buy a whole bunch of these. I love these. I would prefer to have these over these. And I only have a small amount of these left, and I have none of those left. I just gave my last two to Cameron. So anyway, switch extenders are pretty cool. So come on around here and let's look at some more cool stuff. So back to the carburetors. What happened is that when we first received this car, it had the Nike downdraft. Now, You may get on me about putting a 1 inch 3/4 HIF on a Cooper S, but this thing had a Nike downdraft on it, and I don't think I hate any carburetor more in the world than downdraft. Webers, Nikes, don't put a downdraft carburetor. Unless it's a blown out hot rod, you know, with an IDA, that's kind of cool. However, the Nike and the Weber, DGV Weber, light them on fire, throw them away. I can't stand those things.
May I ask you a question, Doctor? And I don't mean to be insensitive, but does Dr. Jeremy have Asperger's?
Probably. I know he doesn't wipe real well.
So anyway, I think we should go for a ride now, don't you? Here we go. Oh, wait, let me close the bonnet. Let's get rid of these carbs. And then we're going to jump in, and guess what, people? I know you've never ridden in a 1071 Cooper S. Those that have are very few, and I know there's one famous guy in particular. His name was Patty Hopkirk. In 1964, drove a 1071 Morris Cooper S to the Monte Carlo victory and put the Mini on the map. He became the 5th Beatle, my personal friend. I love Patty Hopkirk, and this is the car that he drove, and you're about to ride in one right now. So here we go. Let me put these carbs away. And this is going to be fun. Here we go. Riding in a Mini Cooper S. Okay. Are you guys as excited as I am to ride in a real 1964 1071 Cooper S? I am. This is holy grail mini stuff right here. I know that term is overused, but this really is holy grail mini stuff. They only made 400. Did you hear that starter? Zing!
Come here!
Bazinga.
That's good stuff. They only made 402 left-hand drive Mark I 1964 1071 Cooper S's. The only Mini that is probably rarer than that is the 970. In 1964, the 970, I think they made 9. That's crazy. This car. Now you see, look, it's cold. I didn't even pull the choke, and it fired right up with that single carb. Look, I know you guys are going to be on me about this. Why didn't you put those single carbs on with the air cleaner with the little blue Cooper tagger on it? Because Cameron's not a wrench. He said, dude, I just want it to run and drive. I want to get in, turn the key. I want it to have nice throttle response. I don't want to fiddle with it. I said, okay, then we better put the single on. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't sell Cameron the twin carbs and let him, we'll wrap them in plastic, we'll preserve them, we'll set them on the shelf and say, okay, here's the real carburetors that belong on this carb, or on this car. So, anyway, I'm gonna build up a little heat in this thing. I never get on them cold. Please don't ever do that to your Mini, guys. Build up a little heat and then you can drive them like a pissed off teenager. Hey, maybe Cameron will teach his daughter to drive like that. I love driving this car, you guys. I mean, it's just so period correct and cool. The shifter is nice. I'm shocked. Now, I did have to take the remote shifter out of this thing, and I had to clean all the goo and gunk out of it, and I kind of just rebuilt it. But now it's just butter. I had to replace a lot of the rubber, just the wiper blades, the rubber suspension cones, all that kind of stuff. As cars age, they, the rubber kind of goes away. So listen to this. I mean, how old is this car? What is this, 2024, 25? 1964. What is that, 60 years? Something like that. I gotta do my math. How can a car, I mean, I'm showing more wear and age than this thing. And I'm only 55. So, this thing is so smooth. There's no rattles. This is insane. I mean, can you guys tell I'm freaking out a little bit? I mean, a 1964 1071. Temperature gauge is coming up to N. Listen to that. The 1071 is a nice big bore, but a short stroke, so it revs really nice, and it's silky smooth. It's just glass. I mean, I can really tell the difference in a 1275 or 1300 compared to a 970 or 1071. These short stroke motors are just, I see why John Cooper did it. I mean, they are good. I can't imagine. In 1964, this must have been like state of the art. This is wizardry on wheels, I think they called it back then. This is remarkable because even by today's standards, okay, did you notice that I got a little tiny clunk there into first? That's because this is a 3-synchro 4-speed close ratio Cooper-esque gearbox. You see how the RPMs just barely dropped from that shift? Now here, I'm gonna rev it up into fourth. I mean, I dropped, what, 400 RPMs between those shifts? Racing. Keep it in the rev. That's what that close ratio Cooper-esque gearbox is all about. But you have no first gear synchro, so you better come to a stop putting this in first, Cameron. This is so nice. I got a little tiny rattle. I don't know if you can hear that in the shifter. Yeah. Wow. For its age, that's it. Not bad. You see how it shifts? Gosh, that's nice. All right, so here we go. We're coming to a stop. There's first, no crunch. Watch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, you buzz through the gears fast. Oh, close ratio is cool. 1071 is cool. Cooper S is cool. This whole car is cool. School bus. Everybody loves a yellow school bus. Oh, by the way, the heater in this thing rocks. Watch this. All right, it's quiet. I'm just rolling down the driveway. Oh my gosh, it's blowing like really good. It's nice and hot. There's no squirrel cage squeals. There's no dust or fibers blowing out of it. It's got a real defrost that's hooked up that works. I'm freaking out. This car is so cool. You guys, Cameron and your daughter and your family, you guys are in for a humongous treat because this is the coolest car in the world. All right, we're gonna send it off to paint and we're gonna touch it up. We're not painting the whole car. We're not doing a restoration. We're just trying to make it look less, scratched up, which is cool. I guess we could leave it that way, but Cameron said, could you please paint the top and fix the scratches in the doors and the boot lid, things like that. I said, yeah, I understand. Let's do that. And in the next video, we'll show you the final product before we ship it to him and his family. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did. I guess we will see you on the next one.